And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking WRC Italia Fallout. All the news coming out of the last WRC weekend. That was won by zero point 0.2 seconds, but that wasn't the only big take coming out of the weekend. We have other things, such as a big talking point is the pressure is on for Elfyn Evans. He's kind of swapped with Ott Tänak in relation for the driver to be underperforming, I think, at the moment. He did a solid job, but he can do better. Also, teammate wars at Hyundai. Is it possible between Ott Tänak and Thierry Neuville? Could there be an internal civil war at Hyundai? Last but not least, Toyota. Do they need to change their strategy if they want to win the WRC World Championship for this year? Why, I hear you ask? Well, they're not doing too bad in the rallies. Sundays. Yes. Sunday. Those wretched points. Yeah. I can hear you screaming. I'm screaming on the inside too. Let's get into it. So let's get into all the fallout then for the WRC Italia. Welcome back to the Hot Lap. Let's have a look at that first story. So Evans, this is from WRC.com, and he's taking the positives though from the Italy outing. So Evans says he could still take positives from what ended up being quite a tricky Rally Italia. He finished I think the Alghero-based event, 4th overall, which was not too bad, but more than 2.5 minutes down on what was the eventual leader, Ott Tänak. He did, however, close the gap, and this is the important thing. He, try and stay positive, Evans fans. He closed the gap to Neuville from 24 to 18 points, but crucially, Evans admitted he also turned a corner with the setup. So going into the rally, we said he was the most under pressure driver, and in a way, I still think he is. He hasn't yet won a rally this year. And let's be honest, other than maybe Monte Carlo, he hasn't looked like he's going to win a rally this year. Evans himself said it was a very difficult weekend for us. And he added that there was more work for him and the team to do over the Sardinian-style stages. He said Sunday was a bit better. I would say the feeling was definitely improved, and I think the times and the points that we got from the day showed. Still, it's clear looking at the weekend overall that we still have a lot of work to do to improve in rallies with conditions like this one. He said the good news is that the characteristics now change to something quite different for the next 3 rallies. We know the car can be strong on fast rallies like those, and it'll be important to prepare as best we can to try and find confidence early. And it's confidence that's king, as you probably know, in rally, and it's confidence I think that's lacking from a lot of Evans' driving. He's been really consistent through the stages. When you look at him all throughout the year, we know he can do it, but he needs to be able to do it consistently. And when that big moment comes, we all need to count on him, because people are thinking is unfairly. People are saying, is Evans a choker? Is he going to choke? I don't think he is. I think he's capable of doing it. And I think once he gets maybe a couple of rally wins under his belt, which could still happen, I honestly think he will have the confidence to go forward. He just needs to do that. It's almost like he is just that 5% from being a proper rally world champion. But that 5% for some feels like a mountain, and I imagine that does for Evans. Can he do it? Yes. Will he do it? I've absolutely no idea. I certainly hope so, though. So, from Elfyn Evans to a potential teammate issue, teammate wars at the Hyundai team. Is it? Well, after 3 rounds of the season, Tänak had only 33 points, and we were lambasting him worse than we are Evans at the moment. He was trailing his teammate, Thierry Neuville, by a substantial 34 points. Now, in the Croatian asphalt rally, Tänak did, however, close the gap on Neuville, but just 1 point. But in Portugal, and especially in the recent rally, Tänak moved closer to the top of the standings. Now he shares 2nd place in the championship with Toyota's own Elfyn Evans. Now last weekend, Neuville, he did lose valuable points after crashing out on the 2nd day. This opened the door for Tänak, and he said, it's clear things are tight. Thierry and Ott are very close. We are in a good position, but we have only done 6 rallies, and there are 7 to go. And that's from Hyundai's WRC program manager, Christian. I can't pronounce your last name, Christian. I'll get it wrong. But he said it will be very easy to make a more costly mistake like bending a roll cage on Saturday and not being able to continue, for example, on Sunday. When that happens, because statistically it also happens to someone over a season, we lose a lot. We saw that with Art, that we could come back in 2 rallies, but that also means you can lose everything in 2 rallies. Now, if Tanak's strong form continues and Neuville can keep collecting points as he did early in the season, the championship fight could very well become a battle between the 2 Hyundai drivers, which might lead to some extra tension in the Hyundai camp. And I think if Evans carries on the way he is, as in being a bit lackluster, hopefully not, it may well be between these 2 Hyundai drivers. And he said, if things get tight between Terry and Ott, it's a good problem to have. I prefer that to having no problems at all. Absolutely, I completely agree, absolutely. But the issue is going to be then is if you do then have 2 clear 2 Hyundai drivers or 2 any drivers in a team what clearly could win the championship fairly early on, so like we're coming to the last third of the season, it's obvious it's going to be one of them. That's when those games are going to be happening. I mean, I don't know if anyone remembers, didn't play, Neuville was playing, I think, games in Sweden by having the start issue with his car, then Evans had to go. Yes, they're a differing team, but are we going to get things like that? And you've got 2 very nice people, but I think to be at the top of their game, it would be amiss for me to say 2 potentially very big egos, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that both of them are going to believe that they are the ones for 2024. Ott Tanak obviously had that bad start, and Neuville has been so far he's been the MVP of the year. Why his strongest thing, I think, coming from Thierry Neuville, is his ability to start the rally first and have, on the whole, a disadvantage, very much so, when it comes to, for example, the gravel, a lot of the gravel stages, and he has to set the pace. That's really difficult, but he's remained really, really competitive. Yes, he did have that whoops-a-daisy in Italy, but until then, he wasn't. I think he was not looking too bad, and he's been doing better than expected. And then comes Ott Tanak, who, well, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anyway, so I'm going to stay tuned. I'm quite excited. So last but not least, talking about championship, Toyota. So there's an interesting article in Dirtfish, and it says that Fallout is old school. It's talking about the fact that he likes winning rallies, absolutely, but the World Rally Championship has moved on, and he may need to learn some lessons from the new school. And they're saying this is where Hyundai is already scoring top marks. So winning rallies, as we know, is important, of course. But yeah, we've got to talk about those Super Sunday points. And it's 12 points that have completely changed the game and changed the face of the Rally Championship. Not many people like it. But Hyundai, to be fair to them, everyone's got the same chance, and they've quickly understood how to take advantage of this. And post-Sardinia, they lead the Manufacturers' Championship by 13 points, and Neuville leads by 18. So both him and Ott Tanak have 2 Super Sunday wins each, compared to just 1 apiece for example, Toyota's Elvin Evans, Taka Katsuta, and Kalle Rovanperä. They who won Safari Rally Kenya, but scored only 2 points. So Kalle only scored 2 points at Safari Rally Kenya on that Super Sunday. Sebastian Ogier won Croatia and Portugal, but was only 3rd fastest across both Sundays. Now, what Dervish is saying by that is we have this clear pattern emerging, and it's one that's resulted in loads and loads of drop points for Toyota against a team like Honda that is absolutely maximising and taking advantage of these Sunday points. Yeah, once again, I know they're not popular, and I hear you, but it's Hyundai that are taking advantage of those points that are available. Toyota remains in the thick of both title fights, however, and the Toyota boss acknowledges that a change in approach may be required. He said, we've had, let's say, good results, but we need to attack more on Sunday, that's clear. They're compounded by a dip in form from both their lead drivers, so to speak, for the championship. That's Evans and Kansuta struggles, but they're struggling to take the step from stage winner to rally winner. And Ogier and Rovanperä have been left doing much of the heavy lifting despite their part-time status. Could this lead to Toyota considering a similar ruthless approach to team orders when it comes to its drivers? Lavalla has said no, he's still resisting that, thank goodness, but he does suggest the team needs to be tactically smarter on a weekend. He said, we are not playing tactics with the drivers, slowing things down and that. But general level, we just need to be more in a competition. Get into the competition on Sunday rather than thinking about just winning the event. You also have to think about the separate competition on Sunday. And now, despite Hyundai looking strong and two of its own, so strong, with two of Toyota's drivers seemingly struggling, the Toyota boss is remaining calm. He said 3 fast gravel rallies coming up, traditionally a strength of the Yaris Rally 1, an opportunity to hopefully shift that momentum, and that is what they absolutely need. But it's the Sunday points that they're potentially lacking. I would be amiss if I did not say I would be crying and screaming on the inside if you look back and it is those Sunday points that decide the title, not, for example, the amount of rallies you win. I can only hope, because we might have that scenario play out this year, that it's absolutely scrapped for next year. But there we go. So if you made it to the end, please give us a subscribe. That would be brilliant. We will speak to you soon. Stay tuned for all your rally news, your motorsport news, touring car, and Formula One. Thank you very much.